Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll get started. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Okay, so we are on the verses 6 and 7 for this week. Today, tomorrow's 6 and 7, 8 and 9. I guess, right? We are at 6 and 7 today. So a quick recap of Ishopanishad is, we start the scripture is part of the Shruti. And the very first verse, which is the Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate, is representing that the Supreme Lord is complete and everything that is emanating from him are all the complete whole units. So that is the first verse. The next verse is, having set the Lord's position as being his quality as being complete, then his proprietorship is defined in the verse 1, mantra 1, which is Ishavasham principle, which is the Lord is the proprietor of all animate and inanimate. And one should understand what is one's quota and accordingly behave or conduct their life. Not knowing what is everyone's quota and not encroaching on anyone else's quota. That is mantra 1. Mantra 2 is, one with this consciousness can go on live for hundreds of years in this consciousness. And there is no problem if one can live. And the third verse was, one does not live in that consciousness. They'll glide down to the darkest regions of ignorance and the planets. So that was the first 3 verses. The fourth verse was the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. This section 4 to 8 actually speaks about the Mahabhagavat's vision. The inconceivable potencies of the Lord are described in the 4th verse. 5th verse talks about the seeming contradictions. The Lord can move, cannot, yet is very steady. He is smaller, he is the largest. Like that. These are the inconceivable contradictions of the Lord. For 4th, 5th. Now, 6th verse, in the same theme of continuing the Mahabhagavat's vision. The devotee was a Mahabhagavat. How does he perceive the Lord? The 6th and 7th verse talks about, the 6th verse is about how there is a word in this verse which is called Anupashyati. Anupashyati means following the footsteps of the Acharyas. A Mahabhagavat devotee looks at all the living entities and non-living entities as parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. That's how a Mahabhagavat visions, knowing that the Supreme Lord exists in everything. Everything belongs to him and Lord belongs to everyone. So that's the concept that Mahabhagavat, a devotee perceives. And not just the living entities, non-living entities also. The 7th verse talks about the all living entities are the spiritual sparks that are part of the whole, the Lord. They are all the spiritual sparks. It is not that because human beings are the higher living entities, only they have the spark within them. all living entities have the spirit spark, and that is a vision of the Mahabhagavat devotee, and that is how he looks at. So, with that background, we can go into the purport. We have to cover 2 verses. Go from there. And Prabhupada explains the concepts that we come across in this verse are similar to some of the concepts we have learned as either in Bhagavad Gita or in Nectar of Instruction. So, yeah. Mantra 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani evanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Anyone would like to repeat? Begin, Prabhu, would you like to repeat after? Yastu sarvani bhutani
Yastu sarvani bhutanya
atmani evanupashyati
atmanyevanupashyati
sarvabhuteshu chatmanam
sarvabhuteshu chatmanam
tato na vijugupsate.
tato na vijugupshate.
Thank you. Synonyms. Yaha, he who, too, but, sarvani, all, bhutani, living entities, atmani, in relationship to the Supreme Lord, eva, only, anupashyati, observes in a systematic way, sarva bhuteshu, in every living being, cha, and atmanam, the super soul, tataha, thereafter, na, not, vijugupsate, hates anyone. Translation. He who systematically sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. So it is not just the living entities, but everything, the thing, animate and inanimate. Living entities as well as everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, and sees Supreme Lord in everything, never hates anyone or any being. Purport. Please take turns to read.
I can read.
Go ahead.
This is a description of the Mahabhagavata, the great personality who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord's presence is realized in 3 stages. The Kanishtadhikari is in the lowest stage of realization. He goes to a place of worship, such as a temple, church, or mosque, according to his religious faith, and worships there according to scriptural injunctions. Devotees in this stage consider the Lord to be present at the place of worship and nowhere else. They cannot ascertain who is in what position in devotional service, nor can they tell who has realized the Supreme Lord. Such devotees follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, considering one type of devotion better than another. These Kanishtadhikaris are actually materialistic devotees who are simply trying to transcend the material boundary to reach the spiritual plane.
So, having said that, the Mahabhagavad looks at all living entities, everything in relation to this Lord, and Lord within everything. He never hates anyone. So, this is the highest vision, Mahabhagavat's vision. But what are the different categories of devotees that we have seen? Different categories are Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. Kanishta is beginner devotee, very neophyte. They will only look at themselves and the Lord. And their type of worship, like we have the definitions of Kanishta. They go to the temple, mosque, church, and they worship according to religious scriptures. They consider the Lord to be present in only that place, not anywhere else. They cannot see the Lord in all living entities. They cannot ascertain who is in that position in devotional service. So that is very neophyte. And it sometimes can be very materialistic also. That they want to get some benefit out of the worship, so they worship the Lord. Right. Next.
Okay, I can read, Mataji. Those who have attained the second stage of realization are called Madhyama Adhikaris. These devotees observe the distinctions between the 4 categories of being. the Supreme Lord, the devotees of the Lord, the innocent who have no knowledge of the Lord, and the atheists who have no faith in the Lord and hate those in devotional service. The Madhyam Adhikari behaves differently towards these four classes of persons. He adores the Lord, considering him the object of love. He makes friends with those who are in devotional service. He tries to awaken the dormant love of God in the hearts of the innocent, and he avoids the atheists who deride the very name of the Lord. Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the Madhyamadhikari is the one, by definition, who is at the second stage. And what are the different ways he looks at the different people that he sees around him? Supreme Lord he loves. He loves the Supreme Lord. With the devotees of the like-minded, same cadre, he makes friendship. And to the superior devotees, he serves them, hears from them. And with the devotees, he within the three categories also. And with the innocent, he is very compassionate to the innocent. He wants to give some knowledge. And to the atheist, he stays away from them because he cannot deal with their thoughts. So he will just stay away from them. So this is how a Madhyamadhikari will behave. Then
I can read.
go ahead.
Above the Madhyama Adhikari is the Uttama Adhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee does not discriminate between an atheist and a theist, but sees everyone as part and parcel of God. He knows that there is no essential difference between a vastly learned Brahmana and a dog in the street, because both of them are part and parcel of the Lord. All they are engaged in different bodies on account of the different qualities of their activities in their previous lives. He sees that the Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given him by the Lord, and that the dog particle has misused his independence and is therefore being punished by the laws of nature by being engaged in the form of a dog. Not considering the respective actions of the Brahmana and the dog, the Uttama Adhikari tries to do good to both. Such a learned devotee is not misled by material bodies, but is attracted by the spiritual spark within them.
Yeah. So the word does describe from Bhagavad Gita. Anybody can recollect any words that can describe this particular section?
Like 5.18.
Right, listen those.
Panditaha Samdarshanaha. Like
Yeah,
they see
Vinaya
everyone as
Sampanne.
equally.
Yeah, starting with Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Suni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So one who is Vidya and Vinaya Sampanna, who's full of devotion and the good behavior, he will look at Brahmana, a dog, a dog eater, and a
Elephant.
elephant with equal vision. A Brahmana, elephant, dog, and the dog eater, right? Shuni Chaiva Swapakecha. Swapaka is one who eats the dog. Yeah. So that is the vision. So he doesn't differentiate because he looks at the spark within all living entities and consider them. So this is the universal brotherhood. That is because he considers the universal godhood, this Mahabhagavad devotee. Without having universal godhood, no one can practice universal brotherhood because that comes from the Supreme Lord, right? Unless you understand the same platform, how can you have everyone look at them from that vision? It's not possible. So this is the vision of the devotee only. Because he considers the Supreme Lord to be the Father. Then everyone else that are under him as his parts and parcels are his brothers. So that is how it comes. Otherwise, it will be just on the material platform. And he doesn't look at the material inequalities. He only looks at the spiritual equality. The spiritual equality as the spark that is there, the living entity, the spirit soul is there. That is a spiritual equality. On the material equalities are also there. All the bodies are made with earth, water, fire, air, ether. But on the top of it, there are so many dimensions to the living entities, right? the gross, that's why we say the gross and subtle for sure. But then based on their varna and ashrama. So we only if we only look at their varna and ashrama, then it becomes very, very difficult to consider them on the equal platform. That is where the inequalities come. Because is a Brahmana more intelligent, is a Kshatriya powerful, Vaishya and Shudra less intelligent. Probably if we can look at that. And also by the wealth each one possesses. So those are the inequalities. But what is the gross level? Also there is equality. On the spirit level also there is equality. Because Krishna says these are my elements. So everyone is made of earth, water, fire, and ether. And subtle elements are mind, intelligence, false ego. That is common equality, material equality. And the supreme, the spiritual equality is they're all spirit souls. But leaving these two considerations, if one only look at the other aspects, which is the material inequalities, then that is not, that's not the vision of a Mahabhagavata. So one has to elevate their vision from this level to the higher level. From Madhyama also he can elevate to become himself Uttama. However, if you look at the Uttamas, if they only think, because I look at everyone equal, sometimes people also say on the material platform, like everyone is my brothers, I look at it. That is again coming from the materialistic platform, philanthropists, because if they don't keep the Lord in the center, they don't keep Lord in the center, again, there is no brotherhood, because there is no Krishna in the center. So that is why this particular section, someone will please read.
I will read, Mataji.
Go ahead.
May I read? Hare Krishna. Those who imitate an Uttama Adhikari by flaunting a sense of oneness or fellowship, but who behave on the bodily platform are actually false philanthropists. The conception of universal brotherhood must be learned from an Uttama Adhikari and not from a foolish person who does not properly understand the individual soul or the Supreme Lord's super soul expansion who dwells everywhere. Shall I continue?
Continue.
It is clearly mentioned in the 6th mantra that one should observe or systematically see. This means that one must follow the previous acharyas, the perfected teachers. Anupashyati is the exact Sanskrit word used in this connection. Anu means to follow and pashyati means to observe. Thus, the word anupashyati means that one should not see things as he does with the naked eyes, but should follow the previous acharyas. Due to material defects, the naked eye cannot see anything properly. One cannot see properly unless one has heard from the superior force and the highest source in the Vedic wisdom, which is spoken by the Lord himself. Vedic truths are coming in disciple succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, from Vyasa to his many disciples. Formerly, there was no need to record the message of Vedas because people in early ages were more intelligent and had sharper memories. They could follow the instructions simply by hearing once from the mouth of a bona fide spiritual master.
Okay, we'll pause here.
Thank you.
So what does seeing means? Anupashyati. Pashyati is to see. Anu means to follow, right? What does it mean by seeing? On the spiritual platform, seeing means hearing. Because seeing, what does it mean? Seeing is just seeing. And what are the sight, the vision is made of a material element. And what are the 4 defects of the material elements that we saw from the beginning? There are defects that each living entity has, right?
And they have imperfect senses.
Yeah. So senses are imperfect. So the vision, the sight itself is imperfect. So what can you see? So on the spirit, so someone says seeing is believing. Only if I see, I believe. That's very materialistic. Because you cannot see air, you still have to believe that air is air. Similarly, so many things that there is bacteria everywhere. You cannot see it. Still, you get affected by it. You get infected. So seeing is not always believing. But some people have that conception. Seeing is believing. But on the spiritual platform, seeing means actually hearing. When you hear, you actually see properly. Because the senses, and why we are saying hearing is also one of the material element that we saw. It is also imperfect. But where are we hearing from? We are not hearing from anyone and everyone. We are hearing from the bona fide teachers, perfected acharyas, coming the disciplic succession. Then everything becomes perfect. So, what is the disciplic succession we are talking of here? From Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, and Vyasa to all of us from the books that he has documented. The Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and all these literature, this literature also is written by Vyasadeva. It is part of the Vedas. So, previously we learned that nobody used to write anything down. Everything was so passed down through this Shruti, because this is how the spiritual knowledge comes through. It's very in the form of oral reception. But then later on, he felt that this is not possible for the upcoming generation. So he wrote them down. That's why we have all these scriptures. So one has to read those scriptures, follow the instructions from the acharyas who are speaking based on those scriptures. Then our seeing, our vision becomes perfect. Because we are not just seeing with our material eyes, we are hearing from our spiritual ear. Okay, that is how it is. And then let's continue.
I can read, Mataji.
Go ahead.
At present, there are many commentaries on the revealed scriptures, but most of them are not in the line of disciplic succession coming from Srila Vyasadeva, who originally compiled the Vedic wisdom. The final, most perfect and sublime work by Srila Vyasadeva is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. This is also the Bhagavad Gita, which was spoken by the Lord himself and recorded by Vyasadeva. These are the most important revealed scriptures, and any commentary that contradicts the principles of the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam is unauthorized. There is complete agreement amongst the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. And no one should try to reach any conclusion about the Vedas without receiving instructions from members of Vyasadeva's disciplic succession, who believe in the personality of Godhead and his diverse energies as they are explained in Sri Ishopanishad.
The position of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita are described here. They are part of the Upanishads, and in Srimad Bhagavatam is a Vedanta Sutra. After all the Vedas, someone has to give a summary. That summary is the Vedanta Sutras in the form of the Sutra. So that is Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we read this summary of the Vedas, then you have got the essence of everything. Okay. Next, last concluding verse.
I read, Mataji.
Where?
According to the Bhagavad Gita 18.54, only one who is already on the liberated platform, Brahma Bhuta, can become an Uttama Adhikari devotee and see every living being as his own brother. This vision cannot be had by politicians who are always after some material gain. One who imitates the symptoms of an Uttama Adhikari may serve outwardly others outward body for the purpose of fame or material reward, but he does not serve the spirit soul. Such a imitator can have no information of the spiritual world. The Uttama Adhikari sees the spirit soul within the material body and serves him as a spirit. Thus, the material aspect is automatically served.
From this verse 1854, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kamshati sama sarveshu bhutechu madbhaktir labate param. So on a Brahma Bhuta platform, which is a liberated platform, which is Uttama Adhikari platform, everyone sees, he sees all living entities as his own brothers. And sometimes the politicians also may say, all my brothers and sisters. Sometimes they may also say. But why do they say? They say to get some material benefit out of it. Because once someone calls them, then they get their vote, they get confidence. And after getting vote and confidence, they will give a lot of promises to get their confidence. Once the confidence is given and they become the leaders, then That's about it. So there is not even taking care of their material needs, leave alone the spiritual needs. So that is very materialist. Some people may speak like I am equal to everyone, I see everyone with equal vision, but that's not the vision we are talking. Unless there is God in the center, that's not possible. So this is the sum and substance of this particular verse. Anybody has any questions?
Not a question. Sorry, Vigyan Prabhu, you go ahead, please.
Right.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. So here, Prabhupada mentions that such imitator can have no information of his spiritual world. One thing, and previously in previous paragraph, I noticed that Supreme Lord has the one who imitates the Uttama Adhikari, they will be in bodily platform. He mentioned somewhere, right? I guess.
Last verse, last paragraph we just read.
Yeah,
Here.
previously.
Here.
Yeah. So sometimes in other spiritual practices who do not follow the Vedic system, they follow some other system of spiritual practice, they can also see everyone in equal vision. And they also chant differently. For example, the Muslims, they chant Subhanallah and Allah Akbar in their beads. The Christians also, they chant and rosary. So will they be considered Uttama Adhikari if they see everyone on an equal platform, if they are not on a conversion with the Vedic system or the scriptures?
We also have this verse to back up that, right? We don't see the Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastane Shunichaiva Swapakya Pandita Samadarshana. So it doesn't differentiate between, so brotherhood comes from them on their people standing next to them. But then the actual universal brotherhood is looking at all living entities. So if you only think the people around you are the living entities and consider them as brothers and all others are for your sense gratification, then is that complete understanding of this principle? Uttamadhikari doesn't differentiate between living entity and material things, as we said from the verse itself. But between the living entities also it doesn't differentiate, right? Only my family members, my community members, if you only have that vision, then that is not universal brotherhood nor Uttamadhikari vision. It is still Kanishta, mine.
So even if they are able to see all living beings in equal vision, if they contradict, that means if they see their community or their religion followers are the only true believers or something, then they are also on a kind of Madhyama or even Kanishta.
Kanishta, right? I'm my religion, everything related to me and mine concept in Kanishta. They may be devotees, but still I am the only disciple of my spiritual master, a greatest disciple. My Lord is a supreme. Lord is only in the temple. My community members, my spiritual master's disciples, my religion. So that's Kanishta. So they may be they are devotees. They are chanting some form of the Lord, some name of the Lord. They are devotees, but they are at the Kanishta platform. They are not. They cannot see universal conception of the Lord, spiritual vision.
So there are Buddhist practitioners who see all living beings equally. So those can be considered elevated in such case.
Buddhists?
Yeah.
Do they have God in the center?
They generally follow the impersonal form or the void, principle of void.
They are definitely on the path. They are following the Vedic path. Definitely better than the rest, but not fully on the platform yet. See, anything to do with the Vedic knowledge still better than any other knowledge, any material knowledge. Still, it is part of the Vedic. Elevation happens on the Vedic platform. They continue to do that. So, Madhyama is supposed to be elevating his consciousness to become an Uttama. Kanishta is supposed to develop his knowledge and become at least Madhyama. So, that's a progressive path. It's recommended. And all these other forms of religion are definitely connected to some Vedic roots, and the elevation is possible. If they continue to follow those principles very religiously without deviating, the progression is possible. Elevation, progression is possible. They are on the path. But we cannot call them Uttama Adhikaris because of the practices as well as because of not keeping Krishna in the center of their lives.
Thank you.
Yes, Shalini.
Sorry, when you mentioned Mataji, Hare Krishna, sorry, when you mentioned that seeing is hearing, seeing means hearing, I've heard from people, they say that when you go to Vrindavan, see through hearing. So it just reminded me of that. And now I understand better why they say that.
Well, yes, Vivek and Karthik.
Mataji, can we say that the concept of Uttamatikari is only applicable in Krishna consciousness, where there is a duality like Achinta Beda Beda Tattva, only when that is there, the Uttamatikari comes in place, because then only there's a differentiation between the soul and the super soul, and that's where we see the other souls as a part and parcel of Krishna, and we get the knowledge, right? Can we say that? Because
yeah, sorry. Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, you cannot apply here in this place because Uttamadhikaris, again, as long as they're following some Vedic process, there are other schools of thought also, not just Gaudiya, which is Krishna consciousness. They're only speaking about Krishna as a Lord. But there are other schools of thought like other sampradayas. There are also Uttamadhikaris in them. They look at it from Vishnu or some other form of the Lord that they worship. May not be Krishna as the name, but Vishnu or his expansions. They are also on the path, but that's, yeah, Achintya Beda Beda Atattva is very specific to Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Okay? As propounded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Uttamadhikaris are found everywhere else also. Again, we should not have our restricted vision, thinking that only in Krishna consciousness you find Uttamadhikaris. There are Uttamadhikaris all over the globe, all over the universe, following the other sampradayas, very, very elevated, on the path, going back to Godhead. Their destination, they have developed a vision and attraction in certain way of worship, to the certain form of the Lord. So that means they are not Uttamadhikaris. No, it's not like that. They are going back to Godhead according to their choice of worship, according to their understanding, which is perfect. Because we have all these sampradayas approved by the Lord. Does it make sense, Prabhu?
yeah, okay, Mataji. But
Did I
I
answer
I
your
think there's
question?
a school of where it says that they're one with the God. So even for them also it is applicable.
That is one with the God, but see, Uttama Adhikari is, that word is broadly used here, but it all comes with this concept of my Lord is the supreme, I am the servitor, and I look at everyone with that vision. So there is service also involved. When you keep Lord in the center, there is service involved. Along with the love and devotion, service is involved. But if you consider I am one with the Lord, I am going to mix in Brahma Jyoti, the service is removed from that understanding, right?
Okay, Mataji.
So there is no service in that. So and that is where they come down actually from that position. There is no service. You cannot be in that position. Thinking that is, it's very hard. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has propounded this. It's very hard to be in that consciousness for a long time. So they come down from there. They become yoga brashtas. They can come down and take form in the philanthropy, take activities, whatever, which are universal, but definitely not keeping Krishna in the center.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
I hope that made some sense. Anybody else has any other questions? Okay, then we'll move to the mantra 7. Again, mantra 7 speaks about the spiritual living entities as spiritual paths. One in quality with the Lord becomes true knower of things. There is no anxiety for such a person. So let's read the verse. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaivad vijanataha tatra ko mohaka shoka ekatvam anupashyataha. Yeah. Someone please recite after.
Could I recite, Mataji, and could you help me?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yasmin sarvani bhutani
Yasmin sarvani bhutani
atmaivad vijanataha
atmaiva buddha vijanata
tatra ko mohaka shoka
tatra ko mohaka shloka
ekatvam anupashyataha.
ekatvam anupashyata.
Thank you. Yasmin, in the situation, sarvani, all, bhutani, living entities, atma, the chitkana or spiritual spark, eva, only, abhut, exist as, vijanataha, of one who knows, tatra, therein, ka, what, moha, illusion, kaha, what, shuka, anxiety, ekatvam, oneness in quality, anupashyataha, of one who sees through authority, or one who sees constantly like that. Translation: one who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, in quality one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? So this is the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Because in quality we are one with the Lord, in quantity we may be very minute. Yet quality-wise, the drop of water, the ocean and the ocean body itself are of the same quality. Salt-wise, consistency, everything, molecules, whatever is there in that water. But quantity, huge, unlimited. Quality, we are minute. So one who sees that, again, this is a vision of a Mahabhagat, who sees in that way, there's no anxiety for him. There is a verse in Bhagavatam, Yashyam vai shruyamananam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsam shoka moha bhayapaha. So one who worships the Supreme Lord, 177. One who worships the Supreme Lord, Krishna keeping him in the center, he doesn't have any shoka, moha or bhaya. For such person who worships, who keeps the Lord, who understand this vision that there is the spirit soul, one in quality, not in quantity, there is no illusion or anxiety. No shoka, no moha, no bhaya. That is when you worship the Supreme Lord. Yasyam vai shroyamanana Krishne paramapurushe bhaktir utpatate pumsam shoka moha bhaya. So there is no shoka or moha. Similarly, there is no illusion or anxiety for such an individual. So we'll read the purport and understand it a little bit better.
Can I read, Mataji?
Go ahead.
Except for the Madhya Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari discussed above, no one can correctly see the spiritual position of a living being. The living entities are qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of a fire are qualitatively one with the fire. Yet sparks are not fire as far as quantity is concerned, for the quantity of heat and light present in the sparks is not equal to that in the fire. The Mahabhagavat, the great devotee, sees oneness in the sense that he sees everything as the energy of the Supreme Lord, since there is no difference between the energy and the energetic. there is the sense of oneness. Although from the analytical point of view, heat and light are different from fire, there is no meaning to the word fire without heat and light. In synthesis, therefore, heat, light, and fire are the same. Hare Krishna.
So there is no difference between the energy and the energetic except for in the form of we are all energies of the Lord, and the Lord possesses the energy and he is energetic. Just like we are minute part and parcels of the Supreme Lord, we also have the same qualities, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, but we are covered and we have not experiencing that. So again, from the point of view of heat and light, they are different from the fire, yet the fire is the one that generates the heat and light. The heat and light have minute quality of the fire. That is why they are able to expound that energy. Right? So that is the examples. Heat and fire, then water and water body. With so many things, we can explain that concept. Continue, please.
I can read, Mataji. In this mantra, the words Ekatvam Anupashyata indicate that one should see the unity of all living entities from the viewpoint of the revealed scriptures. The individual sparks of the Supreme Whole, the Lord, possess almost 8% of the known qualities of the whole, but they are not quantitatively equal to the Supreme Lord. These qualities are present in minute quantity for the living entities, but a minute part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. To use another example, the quantity of salt present in the drop is never comparable to the quantity of salt present in the complete ocean, but the salt present in the drop is qualitatively equal in chemical composition to all the salt present in the ocean. If the individual living being were equal to the Supreme Lord, both quantitatively and qualitatively, there would be no question of his being under the influence of the material energy. In the previous mantras, it has already been discussed that no living being, not even the powerful demigods, can surpass the Supreme Being in any respect. Therefore, Ekatvam does not mean that a living being is equal in all respects to the Supreme Lord. It does, however, indicate that in a broader sense, there is one interest, just as in the family, the interest of all members is one, or in a nation, the national interest is one, although there are many different individual citizens. Since the living entities are all members of the same Supreme Family, their interest and that of the Supreme Being are not different. Every living being is the son of the Supreme Being. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.5, all living creatures throughout the universe, including birds, reptiles, ants, aquatics, trees, and so on, are emanations of the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all of them belong to the family of the Supreme Being. There is no clash of interest.
Yeah. Okay. So, Anupashyati, Ekatvam, seeing, this is the verse, right? Ekatvam Anupashyati. Oneness doesn't mean that we become merged with that, with the Lord, or there is no difference. So, the Ekatvam comes in the form of, we need to understand with Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. We are simultaneously one and different yet. So that is the vision of the devotee. When we say the Lord has got the qualities, right? How many qualities does the Lord? Anybody has heard about that? 64.
64.
64 in full, right? The living entities in very perfected being can come up to 50% of those, 80% of those 64, which is about 50. Is what Prabhupada said. Possesses almost 80% of the known qualities of the whole. So that is about 50. So a perfected being can come up to 50 such qualities of the Lord, but he cannot have all the 64. Then there is no difference between him and the Lord. Right? So there's always the difference. One part is not the complete whole. Part is part, complete whole is complete whole. So there is always the difference. Examples given: salt water in the drop of ocean and the ocean itself, as well as the interest of the body living entities coming from one family, from one nation, from one society. That makes it like they are equal in their thoughts, yet there are diverse. They are thinking and they are equal in their thought process. From that perspective, we can understand that example. Sometimes the examples will not carry the entire meaning, the analogies, because analogies also have some limitations. We should understand in that way. Yes, Palak?
Mataji, just a very small question. I think in Bhagavatam we read that Brahma has the most qualities of the Lord, which is 68%. So when it's written here, which is almost 80%, so do we know anyone having more than 68%?
So Brahma's percentage 68, is that how it was? Number?
That's what I remember. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Maybe they are referring to Brahma here when Prabhupada is referring to. He didn't say who, right?
Hmm.
He didn't say who it is. 80% of the qualities. That number we can go and refer. But Brahma is a highest living entity in this universe.
Hmm.
It's the first person. So he has most qualities, but not even higher than Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva possesses even higher qualities than Brahma.
Hmm. Okay. So are we saying that so I was of the understanding that Brahma has the most, but I think it's Shiva actually who has the most qualities of the Lord.
Because Shiva is not of this world, right? He's beyond this world also. He is in this world, he's beyond this world also. But Brahma is limited to this world or this universe. There's
Mhm.
difference between Shiva and Shiva is part of the spiritual world. It comes down to the material world for the sake of his service.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Is someone read? Okay, so no one is reading, I will read. The spiritual entities are meant for enjoyment. As stated in the Vedanta Sutra 1112, Anandamayobhyasat, by nature and constitution, every living being, including the Supreme Lord and each of his parts and parcels, is meant for eternal enjoyment. The living beings who are engaged in the material tabernacle are constantly seeking enjoyment, but they are seeking it in a wrong platform. Apart from the material platform is a spiritual platform where the Supreme Being enjoys himself with his innumerable associates. On that platform, there is no trace of material qualities, and therefore that platform is called Nirguna. On the Nirguna platform, there is never a clash over the object of enjoyment. Here in the material world, there is always a clash between the different living individual beings because here the proper center of enjoyment is missed. The real center of enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, who is the center of the sublime and spiritual rasa dance. We are all meant to join him and enjoy life with one transcendental interest and without any clash. That is the highest platform of spiritual interest. And as soon as one realizes this perfect form of oneness, there can be no question of illusion, moha, or lamentation, shoka. So when can we come into the highest spiritual vision? When we can participate in the dance of the Lord. And that dance of the Lord, when we right now do in the Kirtan, we're actually practicing so that we can dance with the Lord someday. Right? So whoever is feeling shy to dance in the Kirtan, they should consider that this is just a practice sessions. So you should all dance in the Kirtan. So once we do that, then we'll be on that, we'll be practicing so that one day we'll be able to see the Lord face to face and dance along with him. And in that stage, we are all in one with the Lord in the dance. And when we realize that situation, all right now we are suffering is only because of our variegated interests, other than the interest of the Supreme Lord. Right? And that is why we have Shoka and Moha. But when we come into that platform, there is no, because living entities are by nature very, very enjoying potency. Anandamayo Abhyasa, because Ananda, spiritual enjoyment, not material, because we have understood it in a wrong way. We try to enjoy it because everyone wants to enjoy. So that's without saying, without any difference. Everyone wants to enjoy something or the other. But what we enjoy is that makes us difference. So instead of enjoying separately from the Lord, enjoy with the Lord. That's the dance that we have. We enjoy in the dance, right? With the Lord. So in that condition, there is no Shoka and Moha. No lamentation and no illusion. Okay, we have some more paragraphs. Please someone read.
I can read Mataji if no one else is. A godless civilization arises from illusion, and the result of such a civilization is lamentation. A godless civilization, such as that sponsored by the modern politicians, is always full of anxieties because it may be crushed at any moment. That is the law of nature. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.14, none but those who surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord can surpass the stringent laws of nature. Thus, if we wish to get rid of all sorts of illusion and anxiety and create unity out of all diverse interests, we must bring God into all our activities.
Yeah. So if we remove God from the civilization, then it will be crushed because it is not having any platform to hold. That is the law of nature, right? It will come and stringent laws of material nature will act. Only we know from Bhagavad Gita, those who have surrendered unto the Lord can easily cross beyond this material nature. Otherwise, it becomes very hard. So, yeah, you have a question?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, I think we've realized that at the end of Kali Yuga, everything is destroyed, right? There is a restart. So lately we are seeing that there is this surge in spirituality. In one way or the other, people might not be essentially talking about Krishna consciousness, but they're at least getting more spiritual in nature. So this is very contradictory to what we know of Kali Yuga as Kali Yuga, right? People are not spiritual. There is no God. So why is that? And how can we explain this increase in Kali Yuga?
You mean to say all living entities are turning to God? What is the population?
More than they were before. That's what I'm trying to say. Like before, in the sense, today more people talk about it. More people are talking about spirituality, believing in God, in whatever God they want to believe in. But there is more belief, there is more word around it.
Sure, that's good. You're saying this is going against the principles of Kali?
Yes.
But then there is more influence of Kali also, right? There is influence of Kali also. You see a lot of Kali Yuga type activities happening. And devotees are also, people also turning towards devotion, which is good. But we also need people, pious people, to establish the next set of cycle of yugas, right? Where are they going to come from? These people who are on the path and yet have not made it yet. They're not perfected. So the laws of nature are working fine. As much of Kali happening around us as much as we might not see it, but there's a lot of influence of Kali Yuga happening around the world.
Right.
And at the same time, if devotees are turning to get relief from it, why not? Let us propagate even more so that, and people have to, whoever wants to go back to Godhead, they don't have to see the end of Kali. If they are on this path, this is the best thing that they can do to themselves. Because we're constricting our vision when we say that. There are more people, there are always people who all pious people were always there. They would always turn towards the Lord. And there are impious people who are turning away from the Lord. So they want to go back to Godhead. Allow them, let them. on their path. And if they're not able to mature in this life, there's always a chance again. And also, when the whole thing gets shut down at the end of Kali Yuga, new people have to start this, new pious people. And these are the people who are qualified to do that.
Hmm.
So we should look at it from that perspective. And
Got it. So Mataji, can you double down on what does it mean at by the destruction at the end of Kali Yuga? Because I have this very dramatic understanding of destruction, which basically means everybody would die, there would not be many people, and probably Earth. I don't know if Earth would be there or not. Like Earth as an Earth would be there, would there be any living entity? But now that you say that there should be some people to continue the piety, right? The next yuga. So which is contradictory to my understanding of devastation. So can you explain what that
what
exactly means?
What is that? What do you say?
I mean destruction. Yeah, like what does destruction at the end of every yuga basically mean? Does it mean everybody on the planet dies, or is it like there are some people still left?
So this is not the end of the. So this is a 4,300,000, right? What is that number that we have? 4.3 lakh years is the end of Kali Yuga. And the cycle continues, right? At the end of that, there is Satya Yuga again starting. The number is 4 times the 4.3, right? That is around 16 million, some number. So that is continued, cyclic, as we said. This is still, so this is the Kali Yuga ending and the Satya Yuga starting. So from the Bhagavatam, we know, right? Kalki will come. Have you read that or heard about it?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes?
Yes.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, so Kalki will come and destroy all the people who are atheists and who are disturbing the peace or causing harm to the. So he will destroy them. So in the Kali Yuga, it's very dramatic also. If you read those in the Bhagavatam, in the 12th canto, how the living entities will run away from, and the lifespan of the living entities become only 25 years. Man will eat man, and various others. They are very ghastly to even hear. So that thing will happen with the influence of time, with the passage of time. Lord Kali will come and safeguard as is Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinashaya Chaturpushtam. So at that time, to safeguard the religious principles and to safeguard the devotees, he will come and kill the miscreants. So that will happen. So how it will happen? If you want to wait and watch, you can see that. But I recommend don't do that. One should not want to see that. Okay. So how it happens is the devotees are always there. As much as miscreants are there, devotees also will be. They'll continue. Prabhupada's mercy, the books will continue. The devotees will continue, but in smaller portions, smaller quantities. They become very invisible, like underground devotees practicing. They go into the, in Bhagavatam it says they live in the mountains because they won't, the regular society with the cities are occupied with these miscreants. They will not have place. So they go and hide in the mountains and they will do their practices. So that will be there, always will be there. Kali, in the Kali, the dharma exists on one leg only, right? On one leg it exists. That is a religious principle. So that will continue. How it will happen? We can only think of some graphic representation from the scriptures. But all our thoughts, processes, activities, intentions, aspirations should be to get out before that comes. Because it's very hard to deal with it. Already it is so hard to deal with the current situations. Doing your practices is very hard, isn't it? Running against the current, going against the current to do things. So at that time, it will be even harder.
Yes, thank you,
Any
Mataji.
thoughts you have to say?
Not really, Mataji. I mean, I do understand what you're saying. It's very different. Like I thought that so when I asked that question, I think I was wanting to understand if there is anything in the Shastras already which talked about that when previous yugas were destroyed, what did it look like? But maybe there is not any reference and we cannot know. So that's the only thing that I was trying to understand.
So the transition, this is not the end of the day of Brahma. It's still
Hmm.
day. One
Hmm.
day, 12 hours is 12 hours at night. In one
Yeah.
12 hours of his day, how many cycles pass? 72 yoga cycles pass. 14 Manus come in his 12 hours time period. This is the 7th Manu, 28th yoga cycle. We're transitioning into 29th yoga cycle. We'll transition into that. Yoga cycle is 4 series of Satya Yoga Treta. That is one yoga cycle. Like that, in the day of Brahma, that leaving alone that, we are in the 7th Manu. In one day of Brahma, 14 Manus comes, we are in the 7th Manu. And he rules for 72 yoga cycles. We are in the 28th yoga cycle. So this is not the pralaya yet. How the transition happens is solid degeneration. As it is happening, it becomes very, it won't be that glaring for the people at that time. It's happening. It's like right now from Dwapara to Kali, when that happened, when in Bhagavatam it is there in the first chapter. So when Parashit Maharaj could see so many anomalies around him, that was dramatic representation. You read those. Then he could see the Kali is beating the bull and the cow, right? That is Kali. It is come. He is seen that it is happening now around the world. People are becoming very disturbed, very anxious from how they were in the previous times. He could see that. And that is when my time is now come up to establish the religious principles for the upcoming people. And that is a pastime of the Lord, established by the Lord. So it will be very seamless at that time, I would think. Because the transition, you won't see it so drastically, right? We are here, like from the day to night. How is it transition? You are part of the day. It is transition from evening to night. The transition is seamless. Slowly it happens.
Yes, Mataji, thank you for reminding me about it. Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah, Krishna. Let's read next.
Can I read, Mataji?
Please.
Yeah.
The results of our activities must be used to serve the interest of the Lord and not for any other purpose. Only by serving the Lord's interest we can perceive the Atma Bhuta interest mentioned here. The Atma Bhuta interest mentioned in this mantra and the Brahma Bhuta interest mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 18.54 are one and the same. The Supreme Atma or Soul is the Lord Himself, and the minute Atma is the living entity. The Supreme Atma or Paramatma alone maintains all the individual minute beings, for the Supreme Lord wants to derive pleasure out of their affection. The Father extends Himself through His children and maintains them in order to derive pleasure. If the children obey the Father's will, family affairs will run smoothly, with one interest and a pleasing atmosphere. The same situation is transcendentally arranged in the absolute family of the Parabrahman, the Supreme Spirit.
Yeah. So Brahmabhuta, that platform has to be practiced, then everything will become pleasing in the atmosphere. Just like if the children follow the traditions in the family, obey the parents, and follow them, then there will be nice atmosphere in the home. Similarly, if the living entities are able to conduct themselves in this platform of understanding the Atma Bhuta interest as well as the Brahma Bhuta interest, if each one takes part in their Atma Bhuta, which is understanding their spiritual consciousness, it will reflect in the society. Prabhupada says 1% of the devotees can make a change in the society, because devotees are a very less in number. People are Many in the universe or in the world that we see. Devotees are countable. They're expanding, but still countable. So that 1% itself can influence the entire society positively. So what to speak if so many people take up to Krishna consciousness? They definitely have a better influence in the universe.
Mataji, can I read next?
Yeah.
The Parabrahman is as much a person as the individual entities. Neither the Lord nor the living entities are impersonal. Such transcendental personalities are full of transcendental bliss, knowledge, and life eternal. That is the real position of of spiritual existence. And as soon as one is fully cognizant of his transcendental position, he at once surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Being, Sri Krishna. But such a Mahatma or great soul is very rarely seen because such transcendental realization is achieved only after many, many births. One is attained, however, there is no longer any illusion or lamentation or the miseries of material existence or birth and death, which are all experienced in our present life. This is the information we get from the mantra of Sri Ishopanishad. Hare Krishna.
So this is for the we can understand that the consciousness the one develops by practicing like this, looking at the spirits on all the ways, spiritual spark in all living entities. Naturally, they are developing their own consciousness and they're able to overcome the material illusion, shoka and moha. And that is lamentation and hankering and illusion and of the material existence itself, birth and death. And to come to that platform is very rare, right? Bhagavad Gita, Mahatma, Krishna says, Mahatmana Stuta. What is this verse? Where it describes such a great soul is very rare.
So Mahatma, where the last two lines are Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha.
Bahunam Janmanamante.
Yeah?
Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan.
Yeah.
719.
Go ahead, recite properly.
Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudirlabha.
Yeah. So such Durlabha it's very rare. But by the mercy of Prabhupada, we can fasten it up. By following the strict regimen that he has given us, we can make it, reduce that. It doesn't have to go through that long a process. Many, many births. So we can pick it up, which is available, and practice this slowly, because there is influence of everything that is happening on us, and we are also trying to do our best. Krishna will look at the efforts and grant us the mercy. That is how this process works. All we have to do is show our efforts. There is something that is always beautiful that happens when we put our efforts. Always. If we give it up saying it is hard, and then accordingly the situations will turn out. But when we put our efforts to make it somehow or the other, then situations also will turn out nicely and we'll be able to appreciate it. So, any other thoughts, questions?
Mataji, so I just have a question. I was not able to find that. So, in one of the paragraph, Prabhupada mentions here, in the previous mantras, it has already been discussed that no living entity, not even the powerful demigods, can surpass the Supreme Being in any respect. So there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Mata Paradharam Nanyat. But here in Ishopanishad, I didn't find any verse which explicitly mentions this thing. So can you
Which
please
thing?
help? Yeah, in this paragraph, it's mentioned in the previous mantra, it has already been discussed that no living being, not even the powerful demigods, can surpass Supreme Being, right? So in the Isha Upanishad, I was not able to find a mantra which exactly mentions in such a manner that Lord is superior to all the demigods or all living entities. However, there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita. So I was not able to assimilate which verse
That
is
is
related.
purport. Prabhupada quotes when Lord is steady, but he runs faster. In the examples in that purport, fifth, I think, Prabhupada quotes, all living, the demigods are responsible for some part, they're controllers of something, like a rain god, fire god, they and moon god. They have some very great capacities, some great potencies to do certain things. Yet they are not supreme. They are under the control. In the purport it comes. Yet they are under the controllership of the Lord. They are not supremely independent in doing that duty also. In the purport it comes. Like when he explains that he is the greatest, seeming contradictions, the Lord can do all these things, and yet he is the and he is the supreme. That is why he can do all these. Can be in one place, yet be the fastest runner. Whereas the living entities or the demigods, they are controllers of some aspect. They can do that in full, yet they are independent. They cannot do everything. Fire god can only about the fire. Rain god Indra can only give rain, not give anything. Wind probably he cannot give. Is not the controller of the wind, like that. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
We haven't
Thank
seen
you.
all the mantras yet.
Okay.
This is the, well, like, again, going back to our first class, why Prabhupada chose this particular is because this brings some closeness towards because scriptures, usually Shrutis, are usually for the Gyanis, where it is mostly for the impersonal understanding. That is how they understand. But this scripture orients towards the personal aspect of the law. We'll see as the verses and the mantras go. There are very personal aspects. So finally, this is Mahabhagavat's vision, is seeing the Lord in this way.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other thoughts? We have some time. Do we have everyone today? Some people are missing. Usually it is 18, 19, right?
Mataji, a question is in regards to the complete whole. Because he's complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. That's not the one, sorry. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. So that means, are we complete, or any other object is complete, or how it is understood? Complete means what?
We are complete units. Like we said, Lord, we are emanations from the Lord in the complete whole. We are complete units, but we are not able to realize that we are complete units. Because unless we come to that conception of the spiritual understanding, we'll be incomplete. All incompleteness in the universe is due to the incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. That's the definition, right? So we are complete units, but because we have incomplete knowledge, we are not able to realize the complete whole.
So if we are complete in the sense of the object itself, not the quality of our self, right?
Both. We are materially also complete. We are able to produce something, right? Materially, we are able to produce. Spiritually, we can realize the Lord. So we are complete whole in all aspects. Just that we are not able to realize it yet. You can take it to the unit as a body itself or the consciousness. You can expand that to anything. Does that make sense?
We are complete, but we are not as complete as the Supreme Lord. We are just complete for ourselves. Is that correct?
Because we are part and parcels. Parts cannot be the whole, for sure. We are part only, right? We are not the whole. We cannot be equal to the Lord. So many other examples that we have. Salt of the ocean, water drop, and
Ocean
yeah.
and the light, fire. Yep.
Yeah, so we are part of the Lord. We are complete in that sense, but we have not realized it yet. That's why we experience incompleteness. And how the Lord is complete? By another example, there are verses in Bhagavad Gita. We are reading the verses. If you memorize those verses, anybody can say the verses from the Bhagavad Gita are evaporated. They are there in the book. They are there in your memory. They came into your memory. So that is the way to look at also. They are there always in the books. Now you have memorized them. They entered into your mind. Did they lose from the book?
No.
It's complete. And you have it also fully completed. It is in your memory as well. And it will go into another memories also. Like they are complete. That is how it can be understood.
Makes sense, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Nishita?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. So, in between, like you said, there was something, and then I don't remember completely, but you commented like that we all want to enjoy, and so enjoying, like we all want to enjoy, so why not like enjoy with the Supreme Lord? So like that. So I have a question, like if someone is doing devotional service, um, like to enjoy with the Lord, or like and they think that okay, like the goal is to go to Goloka because this material world is full of miseries and anxieties, and so is that really right? Because like we want to enjoy, but so we want to like get out of this material world, and we can enjoy in the spiritual world with the Lord. But is that okay? Or like, is that because I mean, I find it still selfish. So it's not because we want to enjoy, and like I'm not able to understand.
Yeah.
And how to then, yeah, you can.
So who is in the center?
So I mean,
So when we have that thought that I want to enjoy, it's me. Who is in the center? Me, I.
but
I want to enjoy. I. It's always I that is in the center. In the devotional service, Krishna is there in the center. If you take a picture of devotional service, imagine like taking a picture with the Lord. Who is in the center of the picture? It's me. It's I. So Krishna is there in the picture, but you are in the center. So that's still Kanishta. Okay? You can have it, no problem. That process, I want to get out of it and start. So it's transactional. It's somewhere you're starting. 4 types of devotees come to Krishna. All that is there. You can still come talk in that process. It's very transactional, but pure love is non-transactional. I don't do anything for Krishna because I'm getting something in return. Mother's love, true young baby's love for mother. That's like, we have examples, right? Prabhupada has not left anything unopened or unrealized area. Like he said, how does a pure love look like in comparison that we can perceive? Is that of a mother to the small baby, young child, very small baby. So unconditional, no expectation. I don't want anything from the baby. All I want is to give the baby. Maybe later on, I will get expectation. May the baby call me mom, treat me in that way. Some expectation might come, but in the beginning, no expectation. That's closest to the true love. So we should mature our consciousness to that level. We may start off in a very transactional way, which is fine, but that's not the end of it.
So, when we say that we want to enjoy, so we also know, like, I mean, we do chanting and all, but then there is also some peace that we get from chanting and happiness that we get after chanting. And so that also like motivates us to chant more and more, like increase our chanting and do it more seriously. So it is because we are getting that peace and happiness. But we also know that chanting is important because that gives pleasure to Krishna as well. So that's what I'm not able to understand. Like, how do we know that we are doing it because we want enjoyment, or whether like we are pure, or like how can we identify and then rise above from the first level that you said?
So we can continue this process. Right now, it is giving me happiness, so I'll continue. But we won't stay there. We don't want to stay there. We need to expand our consciousness. So what next? By reading Shastra, by applying the process very diligently, chanting attentively, Krishna will reveal. It's a listening process. How this is how we start, right? I want to get rid of our some misery, so I go to the temple. I feel good, so I continue. Slowly, I start to pick up chanting. That even feels better. Slowly, I'm doing. But then, if on this path, the person will become a pure devotee on this path just by starting like this, which is what is the process. It will elevate our consciousness by applying the process very diligent. We may be like this now, but our conceptions will change. This is the purification experience. How we start is fine, but how we end up has to transform. What you're saying is not wrong. It can continue, it can start there, but we don't want to be in that. Slowly apply the process. So by hearing is knowing, right? And now we hear it. This is not where we get stuck with. We need to elevate ourselves. So we apply the process more diligently, attentively chant the holy name. Krishna will do his part of making our heart cleansed to the extent that we have surrendered.
Mm.
And it will
Okay,
continue.
yeah.
It will continue.
Thank you.
It's a process, right? We have never said we have matured everything. We just started. It will continue. It's a good question you are asking. How do I see? Now it depends on the application that you will put yourself to.
Mm.
You don't be stuck
Okay.
there. Okay, it is giving me peace. First qualities of chanting is peace. Kleshagni will go and Shubhada will come. They will happen. But is that all I want? If you want, it will continue like that. If you don't want, you want to love Krishna purely, then you will elevate your consciousness. Apply yourself to the process in that way. You may
Okay,
say
yeah.
something.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Shalini.
Mataji, is there difference between spiritual enjoyment, happiness, and material happiness? Because sometimes what we getting just in continuation with Yashita Mataji's question, could it be spiritual happiness that we are getting, or spiritual peace, not material happiness or material peace? And if we are in that spiritual mode, then we are happy, Krishna is happy, it's the same thing. Could it be seen like this?
You got to repeat it one more time. I don't
I might not be able to articulate it clearly because I'm also confused, but I'm thinking, like, is there a difference between spiritual happiness, feeling happily, like, transcendental happiness, and material happiness? So what we get out of chanting or through devotion, what we are getting in return is transcendental
Yes.
happiness and not material happiness, which is also our goal. Is that fair?
Our goal should not be material happiness. What is the material happiness you're talking?
Yeah, see, so material happiness in my understanding is something that is pleasing to my senses, right? But if through chanting, it's not sense enjoyment, but you're getting kind of an internal happiness, which we don't know if we can get it, like transcendental happiness.
We are getting internal happiness. That's why we are
Yeah.
sticking to the process.
So that's not material happiness, right?
No, we are still here is because we are getting some internal happiness. And once you get internal happiness, spiritual happiness follows. Because spirituality is all encompassing. Okay? All material is part of spiritual. If you get spiritual things, material things are included. Buy one, get the other one for free. So you will get spiritual, if you aspire for spirituality, material aspirations, they will go along with it.
So then it's not sorry.
Then that means, in other way to look at the material things will become purified. You may not have any material things because you're transcendentally situated. You don't want to aspire for any. That becomes like it is standing at your doorstep. You want to choose whether you want it or not.
So in that case, it's not transactional anymore. If you're getting that internal happiness, then it's not transactional that we do it, and because we do it for our internal happiness, and we are not asking, it's not transactional with Krishna's happiness, right?
Again, we don't want to put that because I'm getting transcendental happiness, I want to do. We do it as a matter of duty to start with, and the rest is up to Krishna how you want to reciprocate with us. What we are getting is just his mercy. Take it as his mercy. Instead of taking my happiness, I'm receiving some. That's the mercy, right? When we feel happy, there is something that is given to us, even though we don't have that qualification. That's the mercy. Accept that mercy. Don't deny it. Accept it, either spiritual or material. Then apply yourself more.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, Hare
Don't
Krishna.
think
Thank
that
you.
it is the spiritual happiness I am getting. It is the mercy I am receiving. Put it like that. See, Krishna consciousness, practices are there. Mindset change has to happen. It's most of it to do with our consciousness. That is why it's Krishna consciousness. Right? Consciousness has to change. How we look at things have to change. The practices are there. The practices has that potency to change our consciousness.
Yeah, thank you, Shalini Mataji, also for asking that.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, so we're at the top of the hour. Thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow. Vanchakalpatarupascha kapasintabheva chakatitam pavani devashinibhyanam panitaputirashini ki jai Shri Ram. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare